Good morning. It's just a little bit after 6, and I've been building out this duck pond for the duckies. With a little shade on there so they don't get snatched away by any hawks or anything. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about what it really means to exist after healing. Now, I probably had my spiritual awakening like 15 years ago or so, and that word gets thrown around a lot, but to me, it really just meant that I kind of went through this massive wild life shift, and it started with a deep depression that kind of wound me up feeling like life was empty and meaningless. And then I stumbled through some different teachings and mentors and things that opened me up to the fact that that was actually a good thing. It wasn't that I was wrong, but it was just that the meaning was completely made up and arbitrary, and that I could sort of create my own meaning and exist in a different way than I existed growing up. So when I say spiritual awakening, it's like waking up to the truth, waking up to realizing that who you think you are, you're just a character, and it's all an idea, and it's all conditioned beliefs, and that we can kind of start to look at and dismantle that character and be in this state of oneness and harmony. And I don't say that in the way of like peace and love and all that stuff all the time, but just awareness of, yeah, we're all connected, and sometimes life can be bittersweet. It can be bittersweet, sour, salty. It can be all the things, and we're humans experiencing that. So a lot of people, they get on the spiritual path and they assume that it must be, the end or the destination, right? Spirituality. Well, I'm a spiritual person now, and if I keep working at my spirituality and I keep learning more practices and keep growing these practices, that over time I'll arrive at this place where, maybe I'll just be more enlightened, or I'll be more elevated, and I have a guru who's, kind of the beacon for that. I hope to achieve even a fraction of what they've achieved. But we think that that place is the destination. And as I've come to see, it's not a destination, it's actually just a pit stop. There's a place after healing. It doesn't mean to say that we're not always going to be growing and learning and expanding and all those things. I just mean that the idea of being in this state of constantly understanding our triggers and understanding our boundaries and understanding our fears and our pains and stuff. We don't have to exist in that world forever. We don't have to always be digging at and taking new trainings and trying to learn more and expand more and grow more and understand and take on new teachings. There can be a beautiful time to do that. It can be a very long time. I tell a lot of people that I work with, we do a lot of, retreats here, and I do a lot of one-on-one work with people. It's like, once you're on this journey, it could be 5-10 years till you get to a place of just like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because your life is adjusting and expanding into this new space. And as you can see, just as the sun is peeking up over the hill up over there, all things come and go. There's cycles. And if we get stuck in one place thinking that's the destination, to me, I find that that's the ultimate trap. So spirituality isn't necessarily a place to arrive at and stay at forever. It's like Disney World, You get on the rides, ooh, oh, right? You have some are exciting, some are wild, some are exhilarating, some are scary, some are sad, some are depressing. You spend a lot of money. At Disney World, you eat a lot of different kinds of foods and often don't feel great after. And purge them out in the toilet. And you have this wild magical experience at times, and other times maybe it's stressful and scary, and you lose your parents and you're a little kid freaking out, or you're a parent and your kid runs off and oh god, and they fall and trip. And that's the spiritual journey, right? It's got its ups, its downs, it's got a lot of many amazing things that can be exciting and that can be invigorating. And also, you can't stay at Disney World forever, right? So people get caught thinking that that's the space. Oh, I'm a spiritual person now and I'm always going to be this way. And it makes sense. There's a lot of Maya, there's a lot of illusion in that world that gets us thinking that that's must be the end place. And people, have their marketing and their ideas and their religions and their beliefs and their ways of kind of making us think that once we're here, if we just keep climbing the rung at the monastery, that eventually we'll end up at this magical place. To me, the place to arrive at is beyond. It's getting off this pit stop, getting off, that, and getting back on the train, and just being in that constant state of flow. So we can get to spirituality, we can have a great time there, but at some point we got to get off the ride. We got to leave the amusement park and step away from it all, and then go back to life. Because the spiritual world, it can be so disorienting. It's like they say, before spirituality or before awakening, a mountain's a mountain. During awakening, a mountain is not a mountain, and that's the Disney World place, where everything's just like, whoa, it's not what I thought it was, and it's crazy, and it could be this, and consciousness, and aliens, and different dimensions. And then after awakening, a mountain is a mountain again. At some point, you arrive at this place where you're like, oh, cool, that was wild. I have a different understanding, different way of seeing the world now. But I need to eat food, and I want to raise kids, and I want to have a family, and I need to make money, and I need to all these things. And once we've gone on the journey, it can give us a much better understanding of how to navigate these things, right? It can help us understand uh, just the way that the world works and the way that the universe works and how we're in tune with that. And yet, we need to just go live our life. So a lot of what we're doing here on the homestead is, we say the magic in the mundane, because a lot of it it's not as glamorized as a lot of what we see out in the spiritual world, and the ecstatic, wild, wonderful, shamanic, insane, magical stuff that is marketed to us and touted to us, which can be a lot of fun. But at some point, I see a lot of people who are just like, they're so steeped in the spiritual world, and they know all the teachings and all the prayers and all the chants, but to what end, right? To what end is what I beckon you to question, if you're in that place too, right? Because at some point, can't we just live life, and do what we do, and not have to make it anything unique or wild, right? Can't it just be magical because it's very obvious and simple? And from this place, to me, if anything, this is the true spirituality, which a lot of people that I work with are seeking. They're tired of always having to better themselves and always having to try to grow and find new things that is wrong with them that they have to work on. They just want to live. They just want to be in that state of harmony and existence, which again is amazing sometimes, and sometimes it's not. Stressful days that are more anxious and more confused, and I just learned to be in that flow and to not make a story about it, not try to change it or make it better. I just exist, and I'm aware of like, oh, it's like this is happening right now. Maybe it's not my preference, or maybe it is my preference, and it's just happening, and then something else will be happening, and then something else will be happening. So from this state, when we talk about sacred rest on our retreats, we're really just resting in what it means to be, taking a break from the character and just being, and then the being eventually becomes a state of doing. Once we can just rest from that, we can actually do things that contribute. We can help other people. I love to teach and cook and grow food and share food with people and take people on hikes and help people open up their voice. These are just things that I enjoy doing. There's nothing special or unique about them. I'm not trying to brand them as my own special thing. It's just what I enjoy doing and sharing. So when you take a break from the spiritual journey, and the permanent break, I should say, there is a certain magic that opens up, but it's not what one would necessarily think. And I'm just saying this stuff because a lot of people forget that, or don't even know that there's something beyond the healing journey, or we say often the healing trap, right? We get so caught in the healing. There's a place where we just exist, and I'm seeing more and more people wanting to homestead and grow food because they realize that all the skills that they have don't really apply to anything specific. Again, maybe they know all the chants and all the mudras and mantras, and that's great. But what then? Well, maybe you start connecting with nature, you get your ducks, get some chickens, grow a garden, whatever it might be. And maybe not. Maybe you go hang out in a hammock in the woods. I don't know. Or you go get a corporate job. I don't know. But once you've gone through this journey, whatever you do, it's all the same thing. It's not, one isn't better than another. One's not more aligned than another, because living life is just living. It's being aligned. That's all there is to it.